Yo, what's up everybody? Jumping here, and today I'm going to show you guys my amazing Striker Titan build in Destiny 2. This is really great for PvE. You will have the most fun, I promise. I started playing this, and once I picked it up, I was like, dude, I am Titan forever for PvE now. This is so much fun. You don't even have to shoot your gun with this build. It's really overpowered. You get unlimited grenade energy and unlimited melee energy, and it's freaking crazy, man. Especially if you know how to play it right. Now, I'm going to have some gameplay at the end of this video, and I'll try to explain how this build works using the gameplay, so stick around for that. But for now, I'm just going to talk about the setup and really what you need. It's a Destiny build, so it's really not that hard, and there is a little bit of RNG, so that kind of sucks, but there's really only one item you need for this build to really make it work really great, and that is where the RNG will come in. So first things first, let's talk about which tree is the OP tree. For the Striker, it is the top tree. Now with the top tree, you get 2 grenades, you get shoulder charge, and a couple other effects. Now the shoulder charge is actually really good for PvE. It's really not so great for PvP. It does not one-shot like it used to. They really did nerf it a lot. It's kind of fun to use it in PvP to just troll people, but that's really about it. It doesn't really work effectively for PvP. So this build does work in PvP because the grenades are good and you get 2 grenades, but normally I would definitely recommend this for PvE and you will just have a blast. So let's go ahead and talk about this. The best grenade in the game right now, in my opinion, is the pulse grenade. Now this works with any of the grenades, so it does not matter, just in case they nerf this in the future, which I think they might, because a lot of people complain about pulse grenades in PvP. But this is a really good grenade, so definitely I would recommend using the pulse grenade. For the barricade, definitely would recommend the rally barricade for just doing your normal PvE activities, because this is really good with a rocket launcher. Really any heavy, this works amazing with, and you can freaking destroy bosses if you have the right kind of rocket launcher. Next up, the jump, it's totally up to you. Whatever you personally like, that's all that matters. Now, the main thing that you need for this build to really make it work, and this is where the RNG comes in, and it's a shame, you gotta get the skull for it. This helmet is actually really incredible in this game because of the effect. What it does is that every time you get a kill with an arc melee ability, it will automatically restore your melee energy, so you get all of it back, and it gives you the good health regeneration, not the crappy one, because there is some crappy health regeneration in this game. But you get the good health regeneration just like in Destiny 1. So this will definitely help you stay alive. You're really, really hard to kill because you can get all your health back really easily. And you have unlimited melee if you know how to use the shoulder charge right. And you know what enemies to aim for. Because some enemies won't die from shoulder charge, but a lot of enemies will. So you always want to make sure that when you're going to use shoulder charge, you're aiming for enemies that will die from it. And if you can hit a big group of enemies with your shoulder charge, it's incredible, because one of the perks that you get from shoulder charge is that every time that you actually damage an enemy with the explosion, because shoulder charge actually causes an explosion in this game, and it has some decent AoE to it. So if you can hit like maybe 5 enemies with the shoulder charge, you're going to restore a crap load of grenade energy. In fact, it's really easy to actually restore all of your grenade energy. And I'm talking about literally you can get both of your grenades fully recharged really quickly if you could just shoulder charge into a large group. And as long as one of those enemies die, if one enemy dies, you get all your melee back. Now you can spam your grenades and then find another group to shoulder charge into. And if one group is weak from being shot or because you have a grenade on them, or if there's one weak enemy in there, it does not matter. You can go ahead and shoulder charge them. Something should die, and you're going to get grenade energy back, and you can constantly get your grenade back, and you constantly have your melee. It's so good. It's absolutely ridiculous. So that is the main concept of the build, and that's why you have to have this helmet, because you have the unlimited melee, and because of the unlimited melee, you kind of have an unlimited grenade. Now, when it comes to your armor, I mean, it's really up to you. I like to go for looks, but I would definitely recommend for a PvE build for this, definitely mobility and resilience. You don't need recovery. You're going to constantly get your health back from the melee, so you don't really need recovery at all. So yeah, I definitely say mobility and resilience is really good. For the mods on the armor, I recommend for the helmet, I use the arc melee, recharges faster. For the arms, same thing. For the chest and also the boots though, I use grenades, recharge faster. And for the Titan mark, I just use increased resilience because it's whatever, it does not matter. Now, if you do want to play PvP with this build, I really don't recommend the skull for it because it's just not going to work in PvP. So instead, what I normally do is I just go ahead and swap it out. I swap out the helmet and I just swap out the boots for something else. The build does work in PvP because shoulder charge is good if you can hit somebody with it, just because it will restore some grenade energy. And the grenades are good, and having 2 grenades in PvP is definitely really nice. But I normally switch the armor up just because I think moving around is a lot better in PvP. So yeah, this is really a PvE build overall. But yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. Now, one thing you can also do, because you have unlimited melee, you really don't have to have this effect on your arms or your helmet. So sometimes I'll swap it out and I'll just go for better reload speed. And I plan to actually get another one of these helmets and put increased armor on it or something like that, because it is kind of a smart thing to do. And if you do waste your melee, because sometimes you might waste your melee, having the faster cooldown for the melee is good. If you end up shoulder charging into a target that will not die from it, you will blow your melee, and that does suck when that happens. But most of the time, you'll get used to knowing what enemies will actually die, because most of the enemies will die. Like, all the small enemies, for the most part, besides legionnaires, will die from one shoulder charge. So as long as there's one of those guys out there, and you go shoulder charging into that group of enemies, you will have no problem not wasting your melee, and it's really, really good. Now, for the weapons, now this is where it gets a little bit interesting. You might see the Risk Runner here and say, what the hell are you doing? Well, this gun's actually not that bad, honestly. Like, in PvE, I do like it because there are a lot of enemies that will shoot arc attacks at you, so you will get the effect because of that. But the main thing is, if you're throwing your grenades, when you throw your pulse grenade, if you're close to it, you will actually proc this effect. So this actually does work well on this build. Now, if you really don't like the Risk Runner, though, there are several guns with this perk, and I think that this is actually a really nice perk for this build, which is melee kills will restore a portion of the magazine. Because certain enemies will not die from one shoulder charge, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to shoot them just a little bit to weaken them, and then shoulder charge them. I do it all the time. So having a gun like this, for example, makes that really easy, because I'll shoot them with like maybe 5 or 10 bullets. I shoulder charge into them. I restore my ammo. I don't even have to reload. And I get my grenade energy back. So that definitely does work out. And I think there's like auto rifles with this effect. So I need to actually get those, because I'm not a big fan of SMGs overall. Now, another thing you could do, and it's also with the same concept, is you can actually use a hand cannon. The Dire Promise is a really good hand cannon from Dead Orbit. And what I like about this is you can literally just body shot any type of enemy, and the shoulder charge should easily kill them, no problem. You don't have to aim for the head or anything, just body shot them and then shoulder charge them and they will die. So using a hand cannon is also good for that. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I would definitely recommend a rocket launcher with cluster bombs on it. If you don't have it, it's not the end of the world. But because of the rally barricade, this is like incredibly overpowered when you have it and you're fighting like a strike boss or something. You can take that boss out in seconds. It's so good, especially if multiple people are doing it. It's kind of crazy. But that's pretty much it for the build overall. Now I'm going to show some gameplay. I'm going to talk about different things that this build can do and just why is it so fun, because it is a freaking blast. I can normally get like 150 kills per strike using this build, and that is just epic as all hell. Alrighty guys, well this is going to be some gameplay using this build, and you can kind of get an idea on how it works. For the most part, when you shoulder charge enemies, if you aim for the small guys, you're always going to kill them and always have your melee. You just need to figure out which enemies will not be one-shotted and which enemies will be one-shotted. But for the most part, there's normally always at least one enemy that will be in a group that you can probably one-shot. And right here, I'm going to chuck both my pulse grenades, and I also got the Arc Conductor perk active on the Risk Runner by doing that, so that was really cool. And then right here, we're taking out this tank using the Rally Barricade and the Raid Rocket Launcher. It works wonders for taking out boss enemies and just taking out strike bosses and other bosses in the game. It's really crazy. Then I'm going to chuck 2 of my pulse grenades at this guy and just melt him, because the pulse grenade is like amazing. And there's going to be a bunch of dogs that are about to come out this door, so I'm going to go ahead and shoulder charge all of them and get both of my grenades back. That's something that this build can do, and it's so incredible. Now right there, I just went ahead and shoulder charged a bunch of dogs. I'm going to chuck my grenades at this strike boss, and then my friend's going to tell me that there's a bunch of dogs on him and he needed help, so of course I'm going to go and run and hit them all and get both of my grenades back. I mean, it's really crazy. Right here, this is just really ridiculous. Running around, killing the small enemies with the shoulder charge, chucking my grenades because I constantly have them restored. And I mean, it just makes so many parts during strikes and PvE activities so easy because you have these amazing grenades that you can just spam at the bigger enemies, and you can just keep shoulder charging all the small guys. And of course, you can use your super with the Fist of Havoc, which is a really good super for PvE, I think. In PvP, I'm not a big fan because it's roaming and you have to get close, but it does work decently. And right here, we're just going to take out this strike boss so fast. And this is going to be the final clip here. But it's really ridiculous on how quickly you can take out a lot of bosses when you have the rally barricade. And then I'm just going to use my super. And actually, this is just such a good little clip here because I use my super and then I go ahead and shoulder charge here, get both of my grenades back, and then I can throw them at the boss and finish him off. Alrighty guys, so that's going to pretty much do it for the video. I hope that this has helped a lot. I would appreciate it though if you could like this video for me. Be sure to subscribe for future videos, and I really do hope that everyone has a very nice day, and peace out.